And we're back. I'm back with another transcription video. Took a while, haven't done one in quite some time. You want to do more challenging stuff, it takes more time. I spent a bit of a time on one chorus here on John Coltrane solo of A Moment's Notice from the record Blue Train. It's only one chorus, not because, and it's the first one, not because I think it's the best and most interesting. It's the most I could chew from this stuff, and I think I got a good few bits out of it. It's an interesting piece, Moment's Notice, for everyone who has done it in jazz college or outside of college and played it. It's quite tricky. It kind of moves, not quite like giant steps, but it's funny 2/5s moving into each other, like chromatically at the start, and it goes through a couple of key centers, so it's the whole thing. And I think it kind of hints, many people say that's the tune that hints to what's to come later on with giant steps and the more mad stuff even later on. I always loved this record. I love Blue Train as a listener. It just from the first theme in, I was even before I was really fully into jazz, when I heard that, I was like, that's cool. And still to this moment, for me, that's kind of the sound of jazz in some way. I read a little bit up on it because I tried to provide some insight next to the playing, because there's a million people on YouTube who play that stuff better than me. But I tried to get some insight about the tune, what I know about a tune or something I read, and I have this lovely book. Maybe it gets picked up. It's a Blue Note book. I got it to Christmas, I think 2 years ago, from my mum. It's like a history of Blue Notes and the most famous records. And they talk about... I really should have put a thing into this one. Bear with me. There's a lot of stuff in here. There's Grant Green, Lee Morgan. You should really prepare those videos. This is gonna be cut. Yes, here. Blue Train. Here, there's like a giant 2-page kind of ad for this book. A little bit of information. And about the controversy about this recording. Some people like really love it, and some people really criticize it for like there's better Coltrane stuff. Actually, funny enough, this is all German, so I try my best to translate it. But they kind of say that many critics said like that Lee Morgan and Curtis Fuller did better on different records, which is funny because every time I talk about this record, I think like Lee Morgan's is on fire. He plays his ass off on Blue Train and on all the other pieces. And I think Curtis Fuller, always when someone asks about the trombone, that's always for me the record to reference the first thing. Oh, jazz trombone, and I go to Blue Train, Curtis Fuller. I mean, I love it. Mostly because of Blue Train, and then I lately got into Moment's Notice. I want to learn the tune, so I did a chorus of transcription here. It's interesting in the piece. It moves not fully like giant steps, but it has like funny moving 2/5s especially for the time being. It goes to various key centers. It has like the big sus thing at the end. So you kind of, it asks a lot of you. It's not an easy tune to just go off on and play. It's the real deal. So I really love the record. The funny thing I learned about this when I read this is here they say, not that anybody cares about that, but they say on the original recording, the piano solo from take 8, I think it's Blue Train, it's the title track. They say the piano solo from the take 8, they cut it out and put it on take 9. So it became this masterpiece. And funnily enough, on the last note here, they say, they don't quite say it was Coltrane's idea, but they say that Van Gelder, Rudy Van Gelder, one of the main guys with Alfred Line on Blue Note, that he hated that idea. He really didn't. He thought it was like the recording of the music is kind of like holy life as it is, and he hated it as kind of copy and pasting, which is funny because nowadays, at least in my experience, it's very often that it might be the producer who says like, oh look, maybe if you just cut it here and paste there. And then the artist might say, no, that's my music. I want to have it like this live in the jazz world. But there it seemed to be the other way around. The musician was pushing it to cut and paste, and the producer was like, oh, I don't want to do this. Anyhow, I can everyone just recommend this book. It's in German. I'm not sure if there's an English version. It's giant. It's really thick and it's amazing. It's just called The Finest in Jazz, Blue Note. There's also a great movie coming out. I see Richard on Facebook, Richard McDermott, put a link on it. It's coming out, a movie about Blue Note where mostly musicians talk, which is going to be great. So anyway, I talk a lot here. It's just because I haven't done this in a while. Here's the first chorus of Moment's Notice from Blue Train. I did my best. I just can't recommend for every guitarist instrument, like learn that chorus. There's a lot in it. It's really interesting how he weaves through the 2/5s. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much. Bye.